Home is where connections are made, memories are formed, and ideas are born. And no one knows home better than NFM. Thanks for tuning in to I Am Home, the podcast that goes deeper than trends and dives into what it means to make your house a home.
Hello and welcome to I Am Home, the Home Life Best Life podcast. I'm Tyler Weiskup. Unfortunately, we don't have Becca with us today, but I am joined by my other co-host. She has the best fat beats outside of the real recording studio. It's Hilary Waltman.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Hilary. I'm trying to bring fat back. I think it's overdue.
That was your test subject.
Yeah.
Thanks.
On today's topic, we're sounding off in the best way. We're talking headphones, but not just brands. We're breaking down like what really matters when you're searching for a pair of headphones, and how to kind of figure out what's a great pair and like what are all these like different confusing tech specs and what should you actually be looking for. And we've brought on two excellent guest experts to help us kind of dig into this topic and to make us sound smarter. NFM buyers and audio experts Anna Murphy and Joe Feregrino. Welcome to you both.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Before we dive in, a quick word. I Am Home is brought to you by NFM, your everything home store, but we're not just about great prices and the best selection in the cosmos. We're here to improve lifestyles with things like this show and our amazing team of home experts, because home life should be your best life. You can learn more at nfm.com. So headphones, I'm curious for the group, like what kinds do we have and why did we choose them? Because I feel like at this point, everyone has them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when I was looking, I felt overwhelmed and I just ended up I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And I just picked one and went with it. But I'm curious, like, did everyone have that same experience? Hilary, I want to start with you.
I had the same pair of Beats, the like hooked over your ears forever until the hooks fell off. And then like the little pieces would stay in my ears any longer. And that's when like AirPods had come out and had enough friends that had AirPods. And I think that was like the newest.
Kind of the newest, flashiest, easiest thing to go with.
Yes,
You're already in the Apple ecosystem.
Follows all of the trends. I hopped on that one and I've been happy with them. So I've lost a couple pair, but I've stuck with them.
Interesting.
I think like I got a pair of AirPods when I graduated from college and I had those for 5 years. And then I started this job. And then I became like a headphone snob. I have like noise canceling for when I'm at work. I have on ear for when I travel. And then shocks, the open ear, I use those for working out because I can hear everyone around me and make sure like if I'm biking or I'm running outside, like I know what's going on, because you never like want to be in a situation where someone's biking by you super fast and then you just hear that wish. So those are the best for that kind of situation. I found out for me.
They're trying to shout on your left and you can't hear.
I can't hear.
Otherwise before.
Okay. So super
solid
safe.
logic to have.
I know.
Pair based on specific uses.
Yeah, there's so many out there too. It kind of allows you to be able to do that. Yeah.
But isn't it crazy that you had to like get this job to get to that point?
It really is. I never thought about headphones like this before. And now that like I'm in this space, it's like there's so many options to choose from. But once you learn like the key features of all of them, you can tell like where you can insert them into your life. Yeah.
Right. Joe, what about you?
Definitely the same position as Anna, being lucky to be in this position for 19 years, I've come across so many pairs of headphones in here, all sorts of types. In my office today, I've got probably 20, 25 pairs of headphones. And then at
25
home,
pairs.
At home, I probably have an additional 30 pairs. I've got headphones galore. So, I can go on and on, just like Anna, for biking, for going to the gym, for 14-hour flights to 4-hour flights. Like I've got my specific pair depending on the occasion that I use.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah. And it makes sense because like you said, there's a lot of different use cases. And that's what we want to like impart on our listeners today, that, there's a lot of choices and we're trying to break it down for folks so that they can understand what makes sense for their lifestyle, what makes sense for the kinds of activities that they want to be doing. And I'm so excited to have experts who 30 plus pairs at home, 25 plus, 3 different versions that you're actively using.
Step up our game.
Yeah. So we're introducing kind of this as a new segment. We're calling it Behind the Design. And what I want to do is break down 3 different things. We're going to talk fit design, we're going to talk about sound, like the different kinds of sound features that come with the different headphone sets. And then we want to talk a little bit about features, specifically noise cancellation, and we might sneak in a few additional features as we kind of discuss that. So Anna, I'm curious from your perspective, how often do you see people surprised by how different a pair of headphones sounds once they find like the right fit? Because that's another thing that I think our ears are all different, our head shapes are different, and like you can have like a really awesome set of headphones, but it doesn't work for your head.
Yeah, I know Joe and I were just talking earlier this morning about how like all the different brands, especially, you know, like the JBL and the Bose of the world, they have apps. And whenever you get your new pair of headphones or earbuds, you can insert them into your ear or just put them on, and you can go in the app and you can kind of specialize like how it's going to sound in your ear. And yeah, so that way it's like really like geared towards what sounds good to you. Like if you like a lot of bass, or if you don't, or if you like, you know, really vocalized music, so that maybe this behind the scenes kind of instrumental isn't as loud for you, you can change the tones in the apps. Yeah.
But then kind of to your point, like the comfort.
Yeah.
Again, like the bands, like there's some really great sounding headphones. But again, if you're gonna, like for me, like I find some that after wearing them for 10 minutes, like it's uncomfortable.
Yep.
But then I find some that I can wear for 3 or 4 hours, and it's like I forget I'm still wearing them. Like they're super comfortable. Like it's just there's so much from the material that goes into it, and just the shape of it, and like the flexibility. Like there's just so many, to your point, nuances that are involved in the headphone. In the space. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we've got our headphones here in the studio, and you know, these are really nice headphones. But like I can't stand to have them on my head. You know, no offense. Like goodness, it gets a little hot. And again, they sound great and they work for exactly what we need. But like I have them on for, well, we do these podcasts for too long. I think it's part of the problem, but it's I think that's one of those things that like I would know. I'm like, oh, this is a great set. Like, let's get them in. And talking to an expert, sometimes you'll be able to understand a little bit more about the different kinds of headphones that are available. So I want to talk some specs. We were talking before we even started the podcast about kind of there's like 3 basic types of fit designs today that people are looking for. We've got the over ear, where it's like the cushions are surrounding the ears fully. The pros of that is you've got little like great sound quality overall, strong like passive isolation, and it can be comfy for a long-term wear depending on like we're talking about the different
run hot.
But they're bulky and less portable. But they're, you know, probably great for home listening, gaming, immersive sound experiences, that kind of thing. And I know that we've got probably a couple of different examples that we can reference. I know the Bose Quiet Comfort is probably a really good pair of over-ear. Joe, what's your take? Like, are over-ear headphones still like the gold standard for like sound quality?
Again, I think it comes down to what the user is going to use them for. Again, you know, for myself, if I'm traveling on a plane, like it's over ear 100%. And the Bose Quiet Comfort is my go-to pair. They're comfortable. Like you'd mentioned, they're kind of bulky. They are a little bit, but they're so comfortable. Like you can literally wear them for 4 to 10 hours. And
I mean, they put it in the name, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they are comfortable.
You're not going to drop one of them in between your airplane seat
and try to find
like that. Just
and the thought of putting it back in your ear, and you're like, no, thank you.
Stomped around on it if you get it back.
Exactly.
But I mean, if you're, you know, probably going on a bike ride or going running, you're probably not going to wear over-ear headphones. Like you might, but if you're big into running, that's probably not your go-to pair of headphones.
Right.
So I think it's really use case when it comes down like to what the user is going to be using it for.
Well, let's talk about that kind, because there's Hillary, you were talking about in-ear,
Mhm.
and I know that before we're jumping on talking about like the different kinds of ones that are a little bit more within that spectrum. But these are ones that like either tips in-ear or the tips go inside the ear canal. Obviously, they're extremely portable, very strong seal if you have like the correct tips that go inside your ear. But the fit can vary, and sometimes it gets a little uncomfortable to have like stuff wedged in your ear for a long period of time. But a little bit better, like you said, for a workout. Travel calls. I think we see a lot of people using those when we're doing the podcast, using those. And I don't know if AirPods are the standard that you go to right now as an example, but that's probably the easiest ones for people to reference just because they're so ubiquitous. What should people keep in mind when choosing these in-ear styles? Like the ear tips is one that like I never thought about until I got a pair of in-ear and realized that like nothing wants to stay in my ear.
It's tough. It really is, especially, everybody's ear is shaped different. And you buy a pair of in-ear, headphones, earbuds or whatever, and if they're the silicone tips, you usually get 3 tips in it.
Yep.
Again, you're only getting 3, and everybody's ear shape is so different. But then you get like the AirPods where it's the solid form and there's no tips. So it's just like you're kind of hoping and praying that it's going to fit. So I don't know. It's tough. Like personally, I've probably gone through a dozen pairs of in-ear headphones before I finally find a pair that like fits and that I truly like.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a tough one, and this isn't a product that you're going to go to a store and try it on before you buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gross. You're not going to do that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to find it, but once you find it, I mean, it's going to be your go-to.
Yeah. Is there like a hack or like a tip that you would offer folks to being able to like, do we need to like take pictures of people's ears and like, this is my ear canal, so this is what works? Hillary is shuddering at the thought, but like, I'm curious.
I know like we've gone to talks or vendors and their engineers have talked about how they, look at like multiple different ears and try to get the best fit and give the options for the customer through like these 3 different tips. I like to think of it like trying on a pair of shoes. Like you might be an 8, but that doesn't mean that the 8 is always going to work for you. It's kind of like your ear too. So it is kind of trial and error. And I think too, like something for me is I've noticed on like earbuds and in-ear styles, I like to have something with a little bit of a wing because it can like kind of secure into my ear a little bit better.
Sure.
So like maybe that's the hook for someone, or maybe they do just like the style that is truly just like a little pod that they just pop in their ear.
Yeah.
Like I think there's different form factors in that sense that might secure something in someone's ear a little bit better than others.
Better explain, we dig into like what does the wing mean when you're like talking in ear?
Okay. I guess like an AirPod would be something that most people are familiar with, where it has like almost like a little stick, I guess, that you would like insert into your ear. That's how I'd best describe it.
I've seen some too that maybe like, I don't know what part of your ear.
It would go up into the ear. I don't know what that style is called necessarily.
I think there's an actual term for it, but like, like the Bose Quiet Comfort in-ears have them. I think the Sonys have them too. Like it's almost like an extra silicone tip to your point that goes up, not necessarily inside your ear canal, but
some of the curves and
it just kind of it secures it a little bit better to where it's not going to fall out.
This category in my research, like open ear, is that like a term that you guys are familiar with? Is that what we're kind of referencing, where they kind of, again, they sit, the way that they're secured sits a little bit outside of the ear canal, where it's not like jamming it into your ear canal? Is that different, or is that the same?
So the open ear it's not going inside your ear whatsoever.
Okay.
It's sitting outside of your ear. So you don't have any tips or anything going inside your ear. And that really started with kind of the bone conducting technology. I don't know, 8 or so years ago, really geared towards like the fitness, the running consumer, and really to give them the ability to hear their surroundings, to still be able to hear their music, but to be able to hear cars or people, dogs chasing after them, whatever, when they're running. And that category has grown tremendously in the headphone sector over the last 2 years,
Yeah.
and we continue to see it grow. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, the open ear, I run, a lot of my friends run, and we like it because you don't have to worry about anything falling out or off. Like, it's securely like placed on your head. Like, you have the option of having a band around the back of your head, or you can also just have 2 little hooks on your ears. Bose has like an open ear that almost fits like an earring cuff is what I call it. And it really just rests on your earlobe. But depending on what style suits you the best, like maybe it's how much battery life or like the material that it's made out of. And again, like the type of fitness that you're doing. But that's one style that I know, like Joe said, it's really taken off in the past 2 years.
That's intriguing to me because I've got a friend in the medical field, and what some of our discussions has been like, we're seeing the effects of like jamming earbuds in your ear and like the earwax with that too, like causing some problems, like seeing more people having to need ear cleanings because of the constant like shoving something into your ear. So that's been top of
people
mind.
are listening to stuff all day.
Oh yeah,
all day long,
my
jamming stuff in your
AirPods
ear.
hardly leave my ears. I cannot be left alone with my own thoughts. So they're like they are in there almost permanently.
Yeah.
So.
Totally understand that, Marty. Okay, so those are kind of the offshoots of like your in-ear. We talked about that ear hook a little bit. We talked about the open ear bone conduction technology. So those are different kinds of, again, little slight variations. There's the wingtips. There's a bunch of those different kinds of styles. But like just understanding that that's probably within that same framework. If that's something that's of interest to you, especially if you're exercising, you're active, you're moving around, those may be a way for you to go. Okay, the last one that I don't know that we like talk as much about, because over ear is super popular, and I think people understand the in ear. But what about on ear? These are the ones that I'm talking about where like the pads are sitting directly like on your ear. And I don't know like who's using those types. Do you guys?
The availability of on-ear headphones continues to decrease every year. Like we're not seeing the popularity is definitely not what it used to be.
Yeah.
So like who's using it now? I'm not even sure who's using it.
What's an example of an on-ear that I would recognize?
I know. I think of like just a traditional, like when you go back maybe 10, like that's like
your
what
Walkman from like back.
Yeah, like it's like almost like that retro style. Yeah.
The orange pads.
Yeah.
There's still some that are out there. I know Skull Candy has some that sell relatively well as well. But like I think those are like people are like, I don't like, I want my ears to be able to breathe, or I mean maybe there's a little bit about that as well. But like I think there's some people that it's a little bit more casual listening is the way that I understand it. And it's that in between. They're usually a little bit more affordable between
Halloween
the different
costumes.
kinds. Okay, Hilary, you're just like, no one ever should use this. But there are use cases. They're lightweight. They can be a little bit more comfortable than like, even unless you find like a really super solid pair of like the over ears. Like sometimes like your ear can breathe a little bit better.
Okay.
So maybe that
Airlines
who
aren't
those
even
folks
giving
are
those
looking
out,
for
right?
those.
Yes.
Hilary, you're dunking so bad.
Sorry, I just
No, bottom line, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joanna, like if you're looking for total immersion, maybe some longer listening sessions where you want like really great sound, you're probably looking for those over ear. If you're looking for something that's compact, gym ready, we're probably looking a little bit more for the in ear. Prefer situational awareness while walking or biking. You've got like those ear hooks, those ones that sit like off ear. And on ear, there's a little bit more of those balance. It has some of those qualities. They're portable, but with less presence than with more presence than earbuds. And the right design is probably going to depend on like where you're listening, how long you're listening, and how much you want to block or let in the sound around you. Feel fair?
Yep.
Yeah. Sounds perfect.
Anything else you want to add for fit and design?
I mean, I think we talked the fit part. I think the design part is probably the next important thing. I mean, there's just I think the headphone has become a very big fashion piece lately, especially the last 16 months. Anna can probably speak better to it than I can, but the amount of colors that have come out, like
you're talking like the actual product design itself.
Yeah. I would say just like, there's been so much, I don't know how to say it. Just like in the fashion industry and the electronics, they're all starting to merge now. So like now like color is starting to play such a big part of consumer electronics, where before you could find black headphones and like that might be it. But now it's like, okay, the Mocha Mousse is the color of the year. So like now we're seeing brown like added to different brands around us. And it might not be brown, it might be champagne or like their take on it, or like the purples and the blues, and like the butter yellow is a big one right now. So like seeing that implemented into brands, and it's not like a specific brand, it's like everyone's kind of catching on to it, because it's really just like an accessory. It's like you put on like your earrings and your necklace or a watch or your shoes, but now it's like, okay, I want my headphones to like be a part of my outfit too. Like I don't want to wear black headphones if my outfit is, brown based. So like my take is I kind of do that. Like, again, we get so many samples. So it's like, oh, this one matches better with my outfit today. Like I kind of like this vibe a little bit more than what I was wearing yesterday. So just kind of working it into your own personal style as well.
Definitely a lot different than from when I started buying headphones about 15 years ago when it was black and white. There's a lot of colors.
And there's probably some people, sorry, Hilary, to cut you off there, but some people who are like going to sacrifice more of like the fit, like how it's going to go on your head, because they want the drip. And they want, want to be able to have that exist a little bit better. Fair.
I was just gonna say it's like social currency, like to your point about it being an accessory, like there's like brand recognition with that too. Is a status symbol almost.
And it's nice too, because like just the different price ranges, if you want to have something that matches the season, then there's $20 options. Like you don't need to go and spend $500 on something if you just want to be current for like the moment.
Okay, we're going to pivot a little bit just based on the time that we've got left. And I want to be able to talk features, because I think that's like what a lot of people are looking for. And the one that we called attention to, just as a starter, is noise cancellation. So whether you're looking to kind of block out the hum of a crowded cafe or creating your own personal sound bubble, noise cancellation can really affect that listening experience and get you where you want to go. What exactly are we talking about, though, when we're talking noise cancellation? Because I feel like there's a lot of different ways to describe it. I'm curious from your two's perspective, what are you typically pointing people towards when they're helping them understand what noise cancellation does?
I guess the best way that I can describe it, and again, being a frequent traveler, is when you're on an airplane and 3 rows behind you, you hear the crying kids or the kids yelling and screaming, and I'm trying to sit in an aisle, either read a book or watch a television show or take a nap, and you can't because it's just so loud and you got the jet engine and stuff like that. But you put on, a pair of good noise canceling headphones, and like it literally blocks out the sound. Like you forget you're on an airplane. I mean, minus the bumpiness of the plane, but the noise, like you don't know where you're at, like noise wise. Like it's crazy how the technology literally, like what it says, it literally blocks out the noise. But then there's just different levels to where, when somebody comes by, if I want to have a conversation with the person next to me, I don't need to take the headphones off. Like I can just start talking. There's some of these have the technology to where it recognizes my voice. And as soon as I start talking to Anna or to Tyler or Hilary right next to me, like it'll pause the music, and then it'll increase the volume around me, so that way I can hear you talking to me. Like, it's pretty insane. Like just the technology that goes into these things.
Yeah, that's crazy.
With the noise canceling.
I want to talk a little bit more general, but now I need to know specifically what product are you talking about? Like that does that? Like, cause is it more of like the AI sensing type things that's happening with noise cancellation today?
AI is definitely a buzzword that gets thrown around, but I mean, that's definitely what's, driving a lot of that technology. But like I know the Bose Quiet Comfort does it. The JBL, there's a pair of JBLs that does it too. But there's quite a few of like the flagship models from
Gotcha.
a lot of the vendors that does that technology.
That's crazy. Okay, so there's active noise cancellation, and then there's more passive noise cancellation. Passive just meaning like the physical design itself is helping to kind of block out
Correct.
certain sound,
Okay.
right? And then the active noise cancellation is it's employing technology within the headphone itself to kind of block out the sound.
Yep.
Anna, is active noise cancellation like always better, or is that like something that when you're helping folks understand the differences, is that not the language that you'd use?
I don't know. I would just say it's subjective really to what you're looking for. Like it might be better for some people, but not others.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Like, I guess, yeah, it's situational too, if you want to have that active in addition to the passive. But I think in most cases now, whenever I'm looking at headphones, like they include both. So you're kind of getting a 2-in-1 experience with it.
Because
Yeah.
the Bose is probably doing a little bit of
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That you were
Yeah.
talking about the quiet comforts.
Mhm.
So like an over ear would be passive
Mhm.
because there's like less sound getting through that. Okay.
Correct.
I'm
Yep.
following.
Yeah.
But there also is like in-ear types that are
Mhm.
doing active noise cancellation too.
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah. Because I know like looking at Bose, like I saw that they kind of break it down like on their website and on their products, but there's like the quiet mode, aware mode, immersive mode. So like that can use like the passive and active together. It can use the passive and passive and active would always go together, I guess, because if you have one, you have to have the other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
From a technology perspective, like what is actually happening? Do you guys like get down to that level when you're talking to the vendors about this kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, they can go into some
can get
crazy
pretty meaty,
detail
yeah.
when we talk, especially like when the engineers get involved. Like you kind of get some blank stares on our faces when they start talking, but we just kind of accept it. But no, it's crazy because like these headphones, they've got so many different microphones in them, not just like on the inside, but on the outside. So as you got the headphone on, the microphones on the outside are listening to the sound outside, and then that technology is like adjusting based on what it's hearing on the outside to know how much noise canceling to give you on the inside of the ear cup, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Also, there's like certain frequencies that it's like attuned to. Is that
Correct? Yep. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. Anna, were you going to add something?
No. Yeah. What Joe said. Yeah.
It's crazy that we've gotten to a point now where like you're going to have headphones that have microphones that like it's not just about your listening experience, it's about like the listening experience on the outside in. So I think that's pretty crazy. Any other like beyond noise cancellation features that you see people looking for on a regular basis?
Does the noise transparency, I know that's probably like an Apple exclusive term, but are those microphones on the outside also allowing you to like to the safety concerns? Like there's times where I want that on so I can hear my surroundings. Is it also like microphones that are on the outside that are like
able to detect that?
yeah.
I would
assume
so.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't
That's
like
wild to me too, how it has the ability to like turn up your surroundings too, to like hear that a little bit
Yep.
clearer.
Like if someone's shouting, help, help,
Yeah.
turn on. Okay. Well, any final thoughts when we're talking headphones, things that you would like that would help our listeners better understand, become like better headphone snobs and just understand, like Anna, you were talking about, get to the point where like you can actually find a pair that's going to work for the situation that works for your lifestyle.
No, I mean, I think we covered
Mm-hmm.
most of it.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it's like a new concept to me that like you can shop for comfort. Like you can find comfortable headphones. Like that has never like been a consideration.
Hilary,
Yeah.
yeah, come on. Like
Does that surprise you?
we want your
though?
home life to be your best life. It doesn't
I
just be
know.
about the looks. Sometimes it's about like, how does it feel?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And sometimes talking to an expert about the specific thing that you're looking for, to look at the products that you're interested in and have somebody break that down for you is going to be helpful. And that's where like something like this show and something like talking to a home life expert at NFM could help you as well. So
Mhm.
we'll point people in that direction. But that's going to do it for us today. Thanks everyone for listening. We love hearing from we got some of these questions from listeners. We love hearing from our audio files. So keep those questions coming by visiting nfm.com/podcast, or find us on social media. I want to thank our experts today, Anna and Joe. I want to thank my co-host Hilary. I want to thank our producers, Ann and Scott. And I want to thank everyone for listening. And just remember, as we always remind you to do, that home life is your best life, and it's what you make it.
Thanks for joining us today for I Am Home with Tyler Weisskopf, Hilary Waltemath, and Becca Sudbeck. No one knows home quite like NFM. So if you'd like more information on home design at NFM, please check out nfm.com and leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice.